On this day, I made my way out to one of the most iconic Mopar events in Southern California, Spring Fling. Hosted by the Chrysler Performance West, this event brings together decades of automotive history, all centered around classic Chrysler, Dodge, and Plymouth vehicles. From vintage muscle cars to rare builds you don't see every day, Spring Fling is known for showcasing some of the cleanest Mopars around. Held annually, this event isn't just a car show, it's a full experience. You've got a massive swap meet, vendor booths, and rows of enthusiasts who all share the same passion for performance and restoration. As NikkiPursuit, this was my chance to step into a space where classic American muscle meets community, and where every car has a story behind it. So let's take a look at what made this year's Spring Fling one to remember. Before we dive deeper into the cars, I want to give a quick honorable mention. Ralph, Rosendo, and myself were out here on that first day Saturday, taking it all in. And honestly, being here hits different when you really understand the history behind Mopar. Mopar, short for Motor Parts, was officially established in 1937 as Chrysler's parts and service division. But its roots go back even further to 1928, when Chrysler acquired Dodge and created a unified system to supply parts across all its brands. What started as something simple, like antifreeze and replacement parts, quickly became the backbone of Chrysler's entire ecosystem. Through the 1940s, Mopar shifted into wartime production, supporting military efforts during World War II. Then, into the 1950s, it expanded its reach, building out massive parts distribution networks that helped define modern dealership service systems. But where Mopar really made its mark was the 1960s and 70s. This was the golden era of American muscle, and Mopar was right at the center of it. Chrysler brands like Dodge and Plymouth weren't just building cars, they were building performance icons. You had the rise of the Hemi engine, factory drag racing programs, and cars like the Charger, Challenger, Roadrunner, and Barracuda dominating both the streets and the track. What made Mopar different was that factory-backed racing mentality. These weren't just modified cars, they were engineered from the ground up for performance. That created a loyal following that still exists today. Moving into the 1980s and 2000s, Mopar evolved again, especially after Chrysler acquired Jeep. That brought an off-road culture, expanding Mopar beyond muscle into rugged trail-ready builds. Then came modern service innovations like Mopar Express Lane, keeping the brand relevant in everyday ownership. Today, Mopar operates under Stellantis, supporting brands like Dodge, Ram, Jeep, and Chrysler, with hundreds of thousands of parts and accessories worldwide. But more than anything, Mopar isn't just a brand, it's a culture. When people say Mopar, they're talking about a legacy that spans generations. And being here at Spring Fling, you're not just looking at cars, you're looking at pieces of that history, still alive and still evolving. Now, when it comes to how this show actually runs, there's a pretty structured process behind it. First off, every car entering the show field needs a signed liability form since it's held at an LA city park. Most people handle that ahead of time, along with pre-registration, which helps speed things up when gates open early in the morning, usually around 7 a.m., and they close entry right at 10 a.m. After that, once you're parked, you're locked in until about 1 p.m. Saturday is more of a relaxed show and shine, so no judging, just showcasing the cars. But Sunday's when things get serious. Cars are divided into classes based on platform and body style, like A-body, B-body, and E-body Mopars, then further split into stock or modified categories. There are also classes for modern Mopars, trucks, and even specialty categories like wing cars. If you're entering to be judged, you have to park in your assigned class area, and presentation matters. Most cars are shown with the hood and trunk open, windows down, so everything can be evaluated. And if you're not trying to compete, you can opt out by marking no judge on your card. Everything builds up to the awards later in the day, where the best in each class get recognized. So it's not just about showing up, it's about how well the car represents its category. Now, one thing I noticed across both Saturday and Sunday, the A-body category was easily one of, if not the, largest groups out here. We're talking cars like the Dodge Dart, Demon, Plymouth Duster, Valiant, Barracuda, and Scamp, all part of Chrysler's A-body platform that ran from the early 60s into the mid-70s. What makes these cars so popular is how versatile they are. Even though they came in a bunch of different styles, they all shared a lot of the same core engineering. They were built on a unibody platform, which made them lighter than most muscle cars, perfect for performance builds. A lot of them came with the legendary Slant 6 engine, known for being nearly indestructible, but they also had huge performance potential. By the late 60s, Chrysler even made it possible to drop in big block V8s, turning these smaller cars into serious sleepers. And fun fact, the Plymouth Barracuda actually came out before the Mustang, even though it doesn't always get that same recognition. So seeing how many A-bodies showed up here makes sense. They're affordable, customizable, and have a ton of history behind them. It's a category that really represents the core of Mopar culture. One thing that really stands out at an event like this is how distinct the Mopar scene is compared to other car cultures. At its core, Mopar is about raw power, American heritage, and straight-line performance. Big displacement of IF8S, loud exhausts, and bold styling. It's all built around presence and acceleration. When you compare that to the JDM world, it's almost the opposite approach. Cars like the Nissan Skyline GTR or Toyota Supra focus on balance, tuning, and high revving efficiency. JDM thrives in drifting and technical driving, while Mopar dominates in drag racing and straight-line speed, like what you'd see in something like a Dodge Challenger Hellcat. Then you've got the European scene, brands like BMW or Porsche, which lean heavily into precision engineering, luxury, and refinement. The performance is there, but it's delivered in a much more controlled, sophisticated way compared to Mopar's raw, aggressive feel. And finally, the lowrider scene takes a completely different direction. That culture is centered around art, expression, and cruising, with detailed paintwork, hydraulics, and storytelling through the build. It's not about speed, it's about style and presence in a different way. So while all these scenes share the same passion for cars, Mopar stands out for being loud, powerful, and unapologetically bold. It's less about finesse, and more about making a statement the moment the engine turns over. What you're looking at right here is something you almost never see in person. A 1963 Chrysler turbine car. This wasn't just a concept, it was a full-on experimental vehicle built between 1963 and 1964, powered by a gas turbine engine instead of a traditional piston motor. And what makes that even crazier, this car could run on multiple types of fuel: gasoline, diesel, kerosene, even things like tequila. Designed during the height of the jet age, the body was styled by Elwood Engel and handcrafted by Carrozzeria Ghia in Italy. That bronze paint, those turbine-inspired details, even the taillights, they were all meant to reflect that futuristic, aircraft-inspired design language of the time. Performance-wise, it pushed about 130 horsepower, but the real story was torque, around 425 pound-feet, and an insanely high operating speed, giving it that smooth, jet-like driving feel with almost no vibration. Chrysler actually built 50 of these and sent them out across the country as part of a real-world testing program, letting everyday drivers experience the future. But after the program ended, most of them were destroyed, leaving only about 9 in existence today. And the one you're seeing here is even more special. This is Jay Leno's personal Chrysler turbine car. He actually made an appearance here himself. He's one of only a couple private owners in the world, and his example is one of the few still running today. Leno has even helped restore this car back to life after engine issues, working with engineers connected to the original turbine program. He's known for showing it off and even demonstrating its ability to run on unconventional fuels. So, yeah, this isn't just rare. It's a piece of automotive history that shows just how far manufacturers were willing to go to experiment with the future. And just like that, that wraps up my time here at Spring Fling. From the variety of builds, to the history behind Mopar, and even moments like seeing rare cars and familiar faces show up. This event really brings the community together in a way that's hard to replicate anywhere else. If you missed this one, don't worry. The next fall Fling is coming up on October 17th, 2026, so there's definitely another chance to check it out for yourself. For more information, upcoming events, and registration details, you can head over to cpwclub.com. But for now, that's it for me. This is NikkiPursuit, signing off.